My name is Dale Ecuyer, and welcome to my channel. I love helping parents create healthier, happier, more financially secure homes by providing information, resources, and a very unique opportunity in the network marketing industry. So go on and click that subscribe button so you don't miss out.
Oh boy, this is a hot topic. What do you do when you and your spouse or your partner are not on the same page when you're raising your kids? One is dominant parenting, the other one's like more passive. Karen Wagnon is going to help us with this. She is a human behavior specialist, a master trainer, a mama, and an author. And I have information in there on how you can find her in an amazing group that she has. Karen, what do you got for us? This is a really interesting topic.
This is a great topic, Dale. And I know there are a lot of single parents out there that are parenting without another parent. And there are also parents that are co-parenting, but they're not living in the same household. And there's two parents living in the same household. And any way you slice it, you can still have a hot mess on your hands.
Yes.
And I as a parent coach, I work with this all the time. So just let me share a couple things that may help people to understand. Number one, why do we have such different parenting styles? Now, of course, the foundation of the parenting blueprint and the Parent by Design program is based on the understanding of human behavior, how we're wired. And the first pillar, of course, is to become aware of personalities. So we tend to, and you and I can both attest, to marry our opposite style. So we have the 4 different personality styles, and we tend to marry our opposite because that's what we're drawn to. That's kind of our lowest style. That's what we're attracted to. But the same things that draw us together, the things that attract us, can be the same things that tear us apart in the end. So that's the first thing we bring to parenting, is just how we're wired. The second thing we bring to parenting is how you were parented in the past. So it's kind of the nature and the nurture. This is how I'm wired, but this is how I was parented. Now, some people can reflect back and say that they had a great childhood and a great experience in the way they were parented. But more often than not, if the parents did not understand the child who is now a parent realizes that there were some things that they wish our parents had done differently, probably because they just felt misunderstood. So there are the 2 things that we bring into parenting. It's not that it's right or wrong, it's just what's real. So when we look at different parenting styles, and I'll just talk about my personal and maybe even some of the clients that I work with being discreet, of course, but we have our more dominant personality styles. Now, the dominant personality styles, when it comes to parenting, would be the dominant, who likes to be in control, and the cautious, which is the perfectionist. Either way, it's all about the task and results and the outcome and the expectation that we have of that child. As a dominant personality style, I like to be in charge. I like to be in control. I like to tell my kids what to do. I expect they're going to do it when I say it. Like that was not happening, okay? And then the perfectionist parent, which has that same corrective style, wants things to be perfect. And if things are not perfect, how do we respond? Okay. As a dominant style, when things weren't going my way, I got a little louder. I got a little stronger. I got into power struggles with my kids. The perfectionist parent has this certain way things need to be done. And if not, we find sometimes in the perfectionist parent, the way they respond to that is they become cold and withdrawn and they stop interacting with the child. Either way, when we are drawn to that task of the outcome of the child, is not a healthy relationship. It wasn't healthy for me to yell, and it's not healthy to withdraw. Now let's take a look at a couple other parenting styles, which are more of our relational styles, more of the inspiring style and the supportive style. They are very attuned to the connection of the relationship, but they also tend to be more permissive. Where the dominant and cautious personality style are all about rules and policy and procedures and things need to be done a certain way, the inspiring and supportive, because they focus more on the relationship, tend to be more permissive and giving the pass, letting things slide, not holding firm with boundaries. And so you can see that can become a hot mess in itself. Now, because we tend to marry our opposites, we may have that strong authoritative parent married to the permissive parent. And can you see, boom, right? Okay. We have different parenting styles. Now, in the beginning, I don't know about you, but in my particular situation, as the mom, and I was able to come home and be a full-time mom at home, I took over most of the responsibilities of parenting. And then my husband or their father would come in, and he could be very critical of my style, which made me feel not real good as a mom. Okay, made me not feel real good as a mom, as if my way wasn't the right way and his way was the right way. But he wasn't here spending enough time. So all of a sudden you walk in, you want to tell me how I'm going to parent the kids, but you're gone all day. You come in. Do you see how those conflicts can happen?
Right,
I don't know
right.
if anybody's experienced that. Or if you are more of a permissive mom at home, and then you have that dominant coming in and thinking you're too soft and you're not letting things, you're letting too many things go. They may be too strong and too authoritative with the child. And then your heart is breaking because you're yelling at my kids and you're making them feel bad. And it just gets to be a hot mess. When the bottom line, let me take it right down to the bottom line, because I'm just giving you all the scenarios of what we may be experiencing. What does the child need? What does the child need? How do we adapt our parenting? And we go through this with the parenting blueprint. I have a whole module on parenting on the same page, because it's the reality of who we are. That's all we bring into the relationship. But if I want to change that, what does that look like even? Like, what does that look like to do something different? If I am not going to be yelling at my kids because I tend to be a yeller, I need to know how to communicate and not yell. Does that make sense? So I need to find another way to communicate. I need to learn how to manage my emotions. If I am a permissive parent, or what people call the Disney dad or Disney mom, you know what I mean? It's always the good time, but they don't set the rules. If I've not set the rules before, I need to learn how to set the rules. What are the boundaries? How do I stay firm when I feel bad because my kid says they hate me? The first time your kid tells you they hate you, they're probably like 3 or 4 years old. Get ready for it, because they're going to continue to tell you they hate you because you're doing what? You're disciplining. Our parenting styles will be different. It's not right or wrong. They are different. But what does the child need? Parents need to be able to effectively communicate with each other without putting each other down and making the other parent feel as though that their way isn't the right way. And I think it is all about the way we communicate. I see that so many with families, that it's gotten really, really messy, and they're all wanting to blame and shame and point the fingers at the other. What's done is done. We are where we are. But what we need to do is pull back and say, what is the dynamic of the landscape, and what is going to be the best approach in parenting that child, and finding the right strategies of parenting that child that we can both follow through on and staying consistent.
Yeah, so I think there's so many challenges. I mean, but I think when you focus on the child and you think about that child, like, how confusing is that to have one parent saying one thing, another parent saying another thing, and then seeing the other parent put the other parent down or undermining them. That's bad news.
The undermining I've seen a lot, and it's because we're in the emotion. It's like, then someone steps in and yells, and it's like, don't yell at them. You're hurting their feelings, or you're upsetting them. Can't you see that you're upsetting them? And then the child says, oh, now I know, it's divide and conquer after that,
Right.
instead of saying, mom or dad, can I have a moment right now? Can we just have a moment? And then you go talk about it. Then you come back and adjust the trial together with a united front. Too many times we're in the emotion, or you see one of the parents responding in a way that's saying, yo, what's going on here? And then you say it just like that, yo, what's going on here? And the child is all confused why mommy and daddy are not on the same page. So they will easily pick up on that very young. Who's going to give them what the other one said they can't? And as they get older, it just gets worse. So it really needs to be, even if you have the different parenting styles, learning and growing together as parents as to what your expectations are, what are our boundaries. And a lot of this has to do with just communication, setting your boundaries as they are going to school, expectations for grades, expectations for curfew, expectations on screen time, expectations. There's all these expectations, but as parents, we need to talk about what our expectations are before we, quote, have that family meeting to discuss what the expectation is, and that we're on the same page together. It's all about parenting on the same page. It's not about my way is better than your way. It's what is the best way for our kids and our family. I see a lot of things that are the generational curses, in which the authoritative or spanking was allowed. And I'm seeing now that that's something that we are turning the page on, that not everybody wants to parent in that way. And if you're parenting that way, I'm not being critical of that, because it's, that's your choice. But if we want to be able to communicate with the child and help them express their emotions and identify with their feelings, it takes time. I remember seeing a dad in a parking lot. This kid was having a meltdown. He was probably 4 years old. And the dad is carrying this kid and he's screaming his bloody head off at the kid who's screaming his bloody head off as if that was going to make the child stop. The child was probably more freaked out that the dad was scaring him, but the dad had lost his emotions. He had lost control of his emotions.
Mm-hmm.
When the other day, I was sitting with I went to see my grandkids. It was a birthday weekend. And Beckett, the birthday boy, was having a meltdown, overstimulation. And he sat in the garage and he wasn't leaving the garage. And he sat in the garage and we let him sit for a moment in the garage alone because he was just really screaming and crying and kicking it out. And then Blake, my stepson, went in and just sat with them. Rather than saying, knock it off, stop doing that. People are coming. We got to stop. He just sat with them. And we shut the garage door and let the two of them sit so they could talk about how you're feeling. And I think it was he needed a nap before the party and he didn't want to go to the nap because he knew the party was coming. And he was excited. I get it. But, it was like he was having that meltdown, but he really did need to have some quiet time. I understand you don't want to go. I know you're excited about the party, but we just need to have some quiet bedroom time before all your friends come so that, you're not tired when they come. And having that community. And he eventually went to bed. But he was angry, had to kick it out and have that. But some parents would have just drugged the kid up, slammed the door and yelled at them on his birthday. I mean, not that we should do it any day, but do you see how the emotion can carry one way and how if we just are patient enough, let me tell you, that's not Blake's style. No, he left him in the garage and came to me and he said, you know what I want to do. I said, oh, I do. but he says, but that's not what I'm going to do. He said, I'm just going to give him a minute and I'll go back to talk to him. But it's because the two parents are on the same page with when we have a meltdown, how do we handle it? Is it perfect every time? It is not, because we're human too. But parents, we need to communicate. What is the way we want to do it? And I don't think we do that in advance. I think a lot of times we wait till we have the kids and then stuff start happening and we realize, oh my gosh, we're not on the same page. We are clearly not on the same page. So for the parents that I work with that have younger kids and we're proactive, you guys are going to have it together for the rest of your life. Parents who have been doing it for a while and it's been really, really messy and your kids already know how to divide and conquer, it's going to take a little bit more work to pull that back together again, but it can be done. I just want to give people hope that you can transform your parenting. But first you need to become aware of what's going on. Adapt your interactions and apply the right strategies so that we can reduce the conflict and maintain positive relationships.
That's it right there. Bingo. That's it. Positive relationships, communication, being on the same page. So you said you have a whole module on that.
It is. It's part of the Parenting Blueprint program. It's part of the course on doing that. Absolutely. And anybody, if you're watching live or even watching on replay, what are the differences that you see in your two parenting styles? Where are the areas that you find the conflict between you and the other parent that you're working with? And as I say, some moms are parenting on their own and they're single parents. And sometimes we have a separated situation where we're co-parenting, and in different households that gets a lot trickier because you can't tell me what to do in my house, and we have to get beyond my way and communicate what's best for the child. And I know that's not always easy when parents are co-parenting in different households, but it is so important that the child knows that my parents are consistent with what we do. The values and the expectations are the same. So I hope parents are able to put aside their messy stuff and come together to do what's best for the child.
Yeah.
And that's what coaching is all about, being able to help you get over that hump so that you just feel more confident in what you're doing.
And what a happier, healthier, not only the relationship, but a healthier, happier child.
Yeah.
Like just knowing that there's not all this other conflict going on as well.
Yeah.
So this is great. So definitely check out Karen's group. Really great. Parent by Design with Karen Wagnon. And I have a link in there. So Karen, thank you. This is great. I think it's so vitally important. It
is. Parenting is hard. Parenting on the same page is vital to the security of your child, knowing that mom and dad are on the same page and that we are consistent with what we do. So important.
So good. All right. Well, thank you once again.